as we know the role of data in sales intelligence, now let's move one step further and define and create ideal customer profile using sales intelligence. So once we have that kind of a right robust real time data, it's important to use that data very specifically to create a particular kind of profile that we call it as an ideal customer profile that we continuously use in our sales intelligence to interact with. So ideal customer profile. An ideal customer profile is an in-depth summary of your company's perfect buyer. So it should contain pain points, budgets, and how they are benefit from your particular solution or product. So ICPs, again a short form for ideal customer profile, are crucial for identifying the right prospects, fine-tuning your messaging, and building your overall sales strategy. So your ideal customer profile is as detailed a description as possible of your perfect customer. It's the customer who is likely to buy your product, get the most benefit from it, and remain in a long-term mutually beneficial relationship with you. So this is something what we can look at when we call it as an ideal customer profile. So these are the customers that gets most value from us or service providers. At the same time, these are the same customers from where we get the most value from in terms of business or revenue. The intersection of this is nothing but an ideal customer that we are talking about. So ideal customer profile is not equal to buyer persona. In earlier modules, you already learned what a buyer persona is. Then how ideal customer profile is different from that. Your ICP or ideal customer profile is your perfect customer and there can be only one, right? You should have several different buyer personas. There are the people that can get value from your product but might not be the absolute best fit. So that there is a difference between ICP and buyer persona. For example, a customer profile or ideal customer profile will talk about company size, specific like 250 people, revenue having 10 million or more, established in US, having technologies used, let's say salesforce.com or xyz.com, and then they have the very kind of specific pain points like high barrier to entry. So that's kind of a particular problem is faced by this particular company, which we are calling it as a ideal customer profile. Whereas a buyer persona is mostly about kind of template of identical people who will react similarly to a particular product or solution. So for example, someone who is around 45 age, is a CEO, married, he's again having his goal is to scale the company, and there is a little or no time, that's the particular problem he is facing. So this is an example of buyer persona, but whereas ideal customer profile will be one only, that's a particular business that we are talking about. So your ICP tells everyone in your organization who your best customer is and therefore where to aim all the efforts, right? So for sales, ICP generate targeted leads. Then they reach them with the messages that position your product as well as answer to their problems, which ultimately brings more kind of revenue, right? And then for marketing, ICP helps by narrowly targeted campaigns, crafting content that resonates with the person most likely to buy from. So here you are actually talking about personalization. And then for other departments, how ICP is important. So once your other departments know what kind of ideal customer profile a business is having in their mind, the product team can add new features or stop making changes that turn ideal customer away. So once you know this particular is my ideal customer, if you demand something extra in a particular product or solution, you can ask your product team to work on those solutions or new features. Or if your particular ideal customer is not interested in one of the part of the particular product or solution, you can again take a different call and you can just get away or rid of those kind of features which actually turning away your ideal customers. So ideal customer profile, how to create it? So as we know the ideal customer profile, can we create it? So yes, so there are steps, different steps one must follow. First one is to identify your super users, that is your existing customers. So your ICP is likely to be a company that already buy from you, right? So look at your customer data to see who spends the most amount of money, right? Uses your product the most and gets most value from it. So if someone ticks all these brackets, he that particular business account or a firm is nothing but your ICP or ideal customer profile. And then you can work out on what commonalities unite your best customers, right? Second stage, once you know this, second stage is to reach out to your customers. So if you identified a particular customer, then reach out to them. If you can narrow your base of super users to around 10, interview them to discover why they love your product or solution, and try to find out answers to questions like how they found you, right? Maybe someone said we found you from particular trade show. That means a trade show is a good way of reaching out to your target audience. Ask them how they made the decision to purchase your product, right? Is it a collective decision? Is it something which is influenced by top leadership or management? And also ask them how you solve their problems and provide with intangible benefits. So you can also know which kind of features or benefits you can focus upon when targeting the similar kind of companies in future. Once you do that, analyze the data. As I said, you identified your super users, narrowed down to let's say 8 or 10 kind of companies, and you collected data. You asked them several questions. You have the data. Now analyze the data. The information you glean from speaking with your existing customers can help you uncover some key trends and or even patterns, which you can then use to repeat your success. And then coming to the next stage, that is build your ICP template. So this is something what and kind of result or output of this particular stage wise process. So this is the stage where you bring your sales intelligence ICP to life. So use the following criteria to define your ideal customer profile. Now mention their industry, location, company size, budget, buying process, job title of decision makers, pain points, business goals, technologies already they are using, and other common attributes like their presence on LinkedIn for say. And then based on this information, this kind of template you can create, which we are calling it as an ICP template. So here for example, a particular company operating in financial, legal or SaaS industry, located in US, having of it's a funded startup, less than 20 employees only, budget is around $10,000 per month, and their key decision makers are mostly CEO and sales managers. The pain points are generating high quality leads, and they are losing time to data entry. So they are maybe having a manual kind of data database maintenance and all. And then there was their business objectives and then notable attributes about that particular companies, like they have a reputation as SaaS industry thought leaders or something like that. And once you have this template ready, improve your ICP again and again. So the needs of your customers and the wider market constantly changes. So be aware of these changes and adapt your ideal customer profile to match these changes. So ICP template, there are some important attributes. There might be repetition, but this is more like in detail what exactly we are doing here. First, try to cover the external attributes. For example, what is the company size? Knowing the company size helps you get idea of customers' problems and how you should proceed with targeting them. Like for example, company X has only 250 employees. Next attribute important is annual revenue. What is their annual revenue? For example, company Y has an annual revenue of $10 million per year. So this will helps you understand their revenue, might help you draft pricing for your services. What if their revenue is so less and your products are so pricely? So it's nothing to waste time. So there is more question that you can ask is where is the company located? How this is important? Because depending on where the company is located, you may face more barriers when selling your products or services or incur higher cost as well. So that's why location is important. Say for example, company Z is in either China or they have both operations in China and US as well. Next, once you listed down all the external attributes, talk about the problems. What specific problems are you trying to solve? So what is your customer's problem? Rather than describing the tangible matter, explain how it affects their bottom line, right? So it's not good to reiterate the same thing which your customer already knows. Help him realize that what particular pain point is affecting at what kind of revenue or model in which kind of area or product line. So example, my customer's website is riddled with translation issues that affect their sales. That means visitors leave the website and lose trust. So losing out the traffic is what ultimately kind of pain point or problem that a particular customer is facing. and then you need to realize the particular company that because of this you will get lesser leads in the pipeline. That will again minimize the chances of getting those leads converted and getting the actual revenue. Ask about how aware is the customer. Is your ideal customer even aware that they have a problem? Most of the times business don't know a particular root cause of the problem, and they are just identifying a solution which is not actually targeting the particular pain point or problem. So for example, if they have never heard of SEO, right, in the previous example, because some customers website is riddled with kind of maintaining the kind of traffic to their web page, and they haven't heard of SEO, are you going to send them an email titled SEO writing services? Of course not, right? Because they don't realize that kind of connection between a particular finding that is happening on their website and particular cause of that particular problem. So explain the customer about make him familiar with your solution and make him realize that how particular SEO will help them to kind of avoid those kind of issues about losing out traffic on their website. Ask about what technologies are they currently using. Collect data on this. Know your competitors, but most importantly, know which competitor your ideal customer is using. And then by utilizing this information, you can help your potential clients understand what's the difference between you and their current provider. And then you can kind of have convincing kind of interaction with your customer. For example, the customer uses Lionbridge for translation needs. However, this company doesn't offer fast turnaround. So maybe you can identify some cons of particular software that is already being used by customer X, and then you say that as compared to this particular XYZ software, ours is the best in terms of these parameters. And then buyer personas. So ICP template provides you buyer persona. So what title does your contact person hold? What is their age, gender, education level, right? Because this background should not be underestimated, and this allows you to decide how to address them, right? When you are interacting with them, you should know what their kind of designation is, what level of organizational hierarchy they are working, how many employees or team members are reporting to them. That's all sort of information is very much required. And again, ask them on what channels can you reach them, right? So identify channels through which a particular decision maker is available on. This goes without saying that whether they hang out on LinkedIn, Twitter, or lesser known forums, recognizing where to reach your buyer persona is a big step towards acquiring them as a customers, right? So maybe you can find out that particular X customer is spending more time, or the decision maker at that company is easily approachable on LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn as a platform to get connect with him. And finally, put forth your solution. How does your product, service, or software help? Something as simple as an elevator pitch is good enough to get started with this section. What is it that your business really does, rather than we sell SEO services, right? So try to form your solution or pitch your solution around the problems that are faced by your customers. What differentiate you from their competitors is again an important area to look for. So not overall, but this specific competitor, why are you better than company ABC at solving problem XYZ? So you need to communicate and convince the particular client when he is already using a particular competitor's products or services. And then how does your solution fit into their current goals? The most important part. This might be hard to figure out before having several meetings with your client, but still an excellent attribute to keep in mind. So for example, at the end we can have an example of ICP. So there are different parameters are there, right? So let's say need from that particular business customer, time, success, budget, and winners. And then you can have three kind of categories: no fit, workable fit, and then complete fit, right? So for example, the prospect doesn't acknowledge the problem you solve, right? So if he is not acknowledging any problem that you solve, that means it's a no fit for you. So you assign 0 to him. The prospect acknowledges the problem but don't consider a solution a priority. You just can't neglect that particular customer. He might be get converted into an actual customer. So assign him 1. And the problem exists and prospects are searching for a solution. If this is the case, you give him 2 out of 2, and then you mark the score here at the last kind of panel to get an aggregate score. So there are different parameters for, again, let's say time, whether the particular prospects or the particular prospect can be converted into a final customer within a specific time or not. Budget also, winners for example can't identify personal wins for decision makers and influencers. Two, personal wins identified for decision makers and influencers. So based on the interaction of your sales team with the customer, you can assign different scores whether the particular customer fit is a workable fit or it's an absolute or complete fit. Based on that you can give scores and then you can have an aggregate score and then you can approach that particular client based on that particular ideal customer profile that is created. Now let's look at one of the example of how this ideal customer profile can help. So LiveRamp is a company in US offering a data connectivity platform, which was an earlier adopter of an account based marketing. So the particular LiveRamp company as already has account based marketing strategy in place at their company. They knew that they being able to target audiences and demand using an ideal customer profile was the way to reach and engage the right buyers at the time. But they saw good results with ABM, but knew they had to level up to reach and engage new buyers. So this LiveRamp is already having that ABM strategy at place and it's working fine. But they want to expand, they want to grow, and that's why they need something extra in this account, right? So their ABM approach and the tools they use had to evolve into ABX account based end to end experience. So how to move from ABM account based management to account based experiences, right? That's what the kind of transition a particular company wants to make. So what they required, what are they needed? So a deeper understanding of their target accounts, right? That's the first important thing they are looking for, and when and how to engage with them. So not just information, how to engage the particular kind of target accounts in a timely manner. That is also one thing that they required, including the ability to have a comprehensive view of accounts to identify ideal customers, right? So they have to have kind of comprehensive view, one stop solution for all the kind of accounts in one go. So they need insights into what buyers want to purchase and when they are in market, right? So they want to know those triggers and spikes. So the capability to build new audiences based on powerful analytics and using different models for different needs. And they also require integration of marketing campaigns and sales, so as to speak to the same accounts throughout their buying journeys based on the target's accounts interest. So there are multiple needs or multiple requirement or multiple pain points we can say they are facing. So those are the problems. So what is the solution then? The solution is to gain a single source of truth for marketing. What is single source of truth for marketing? Is something like everything at one place, all the data relating to prospects, leads, customers, right? Everything, competitors, and then events, everything at one place. That's what we are talking about as a single source of truth for marketing. So what LiveRamp actually require is a customer data platform. So they actually took help from DNB, that is Dun& Bradstreet's ABX, which helped them revamp to build their ideal customer profile. So how this particular CDP kind of tool provided by Dun& Bradstreet, a famous strategy consultant, helped revamp LiveRamp to build their ideal customer profile, ICP, right? So that's where they kind of help them and have a single source of truth for accounts data, as well as creating target segments, activating across channels, and prioritizing inbound leads. So this CDP, that is a customer data platform provided by Dun& Bradstreet, bring different kind of solutions to the same set of problems. So with that single source of truth, then they had the power to see what LiveRamp was able to do after implementing this customer data platform. So the particular CDP unified data for a single source of truth and create ideal customer profiles that let them create company maps of accounts. Then targeting also, the particular use of AI driven modeling to create audience segments for different purposes such as industries, business size, solution interest and all. The particular CDP or customer data platform also help LiveRamp to engage more effectively because it provides more comprehensive and insightful data. LiveRamp could craft more relevant messaging to capture attention and convert more buyers from its pipeline. And finally, the particular CDP or customer data platform from DNB helped LiveRamp to kind of measure those kind of results as well effectively. So, for example, they use data to understand each point in the buyer journey so they could efficiently and effectively deliver marketing campaigns and sales plays. So, it's more about planning the entire sales process. So, that's how the CDP helped LiveRamp. So, results for LiveRamp is that LiveRamp was able to uncover a new universe of accounts and engage with the right buyers at the right times with multi-touch campaigns and sales plays. That's what the advantage of bringing that CDP or customer data platform into the picture. So the company saw 2 times increase in reach. Company saw higher engagement with response or interaction from 33% more of their reach target accounts and 4 times improvement in marketing qualified leads, right? So MQLs, marketing qualified leads. So that kind of benefits were happened for LiveRamp when they adopt that kind of website or CDP from Dun and Bradstreet, so that they can create ideal customer profile template and then approach that particular ICP across sales departments. So the key takeaways from this is that the ICP is a critical strategic document that guides key downstream efforts, what you are going to do down the line. It's an effective ICP requires close consultation with key stakeholders, careful analysis of data, and thoughtful implementation. The goal of ICP development is simple: to identify the accounts most likely to become high value customer. That's the single most objective of performing this exercise of creating ICP. The objective measures of value like annual contract values and lifetime values facilitate the segmentation of target accounts and go to market alignment. The ICP is again a development of by gathering and analyzing qualitative, quantitative, and optionally sometimes predictive data as well. Quantitative analysis of historical prospect and customer data helps identify the common attributes of the most valuable accounts. So it's important to identify the common attributes so that it's similar to what we are going to talk about the buyer persona. So those ICPs or the companies which are matching the similar kind of ICP template that we have created, we can use that data from CRM, ERP, and other systems and then channelize our efforts to convert or focus on those particular leads. With adequate data access and guidance, third party predictive analytics vendors can enhance ICP development also. It's not like you are creating ICP in house. You can take help from other kind of third party predictive analytics also to improvise on your ICP. Remember the last step that we saw in ICP creation process, to improvise it again and again, right? So ICP also helps you segmentation and in terms of organization to tailor their go to market plans based on expected value. So assign accounts to tiers based on expected ACV or lifetime values, and then define the account team structures, offers, plays, and target lists that are appropriate to each account tier. And then finally, designing your ICP is critical to sales and marketing success. Campaigns that invest in well-defined ICP achieve compelling business results or success. So, for example, in creation of faster sales cycles, higher conversion rates, and greater average ACV and LTV also. So that comes to a third objective of this week of defining and creating ideal customer profile using sales intelligence software.